friends, it's me. Today I have a true story about a girl who got pregnant by her teacher.
Have you ever done something truly evil and destroyed someone's whole life?
Can't relate.
I have. I was 19 and about to graduate from high school, but then my math teacher, Mr. Cumberbatch, told me I'd failed his class and would have to repeat the year. I was devastated because I had already made plans to go to college.
How you gonna make plans to go to college when you failed all your classes? That's like making plans to buy a Lamborghini when you still working at McDonald's.
So I started crying and begged him to show mercy and let me pass, but he said, no, and shook his head. In a last attempt, I gave him a big hug and said, please, Mr. Cumberbatch, isn't there anything I can do? Finally, he had a change of heart and wrote down an address on a paper and said, okay, come here on Saturday, 6 p.m. We will do some math exercises, and if you do well, I will change your grade and let you pass.
Oh, go from an F to an A real quick. All you gotta do is come to this address. I got your A right here. Wait, she knows exactly what she's doing.
Please, Mr. Cumberbatch, I will do anything for an A.
Anything.
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 Yes!
When Saturday arrived, I was very nervous. I didn't know if I was going on a date or if I was getting a private math lesson, but just to be sure, I dressed myself up. I put on my old school uniform, but made a few changes to look as exciting as possible.
Big yikes. Girl, what is you doing? You go into your teacher's house for a math lesson. Today we're gonna be teaching you how multiplication works. Add the bed, subtract the clothes, divide the legs, and multiply.
When I arrived at his house, he opened the door and said, come in, you're looking gorgeous today. I responded with, thank you, Mr. Cumberbatch, you're looking good too. We sat down at a desk and he told me to solve some math problems, but I couldn't focus. Mr. Cumberbatch was so close to me and I realized how attractive he was.
Okay, I guess you're never gonna pass math. How are you just now realizing how good looking your teacher is?
Oh, he's so kawaii up close.
I mean, I was 19 and he was only 10 years older than me.
19 and still in high school? What is you doing?
At one point, I just stared into his eyes and hoped he would kiss me, but I guess he was too nervous, so instead, I kissed him, and he liked it. Kissing my high school teacher wasn't technically illegal, but we still broke the rules of our school. When we said goodbye to each other, I asked him if I had studied enough to pass the year, and he said, you have worked very hard today, and therefore I will let you pass. Thank you, Mr. Cumberbatch, and gave him one more kiss. This might shock you, but it was my first time.
Oh no! Ashley, what is you doing? He literally just said he will pass you, and then you had to take it the extra mile. Not only are you stupid, bad at math, you thirsty AF. Oh my god, this whole thing was just a giant mistake. Mistakes are made.
2 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant. I didn't mind though, because I really liked Mr. Cumberbatch.
Yeah, of course you didn't. You don't actually like him. All you wanted is some extra credit.
The next day, I went up to him at school to tell him about the baby. I secretly hoped we would become a couple. But when he heard the news, he got angry. Didn't like the way he talked to me. This was my decision. I asked him if he was interested in raising the baby with me. But he freaked out and screamed, I already have a wife and kid. I'll never take care of your stupid baby.
My dude has a wife and a kid. This went from extra credit to extra illegal. You done risked it all. Well, heck. And now she wants to start a family. You know, just come on and move in with my wife and child. Whose fault is this? The girl or the teacher? Comment below. Smash like if both of them stupid.
You're married? And he said, of course. And don't act like you didn't know. All my students know I have a wife and kid. Wow, what a jerk. Not only did he betray his wife, but now he was trying to put the blame on me. I got angry and said, I will keep the baby and tell your wife what you did. That's when he almost had a seizure and screamed right at me, you won't do that. But then I had an idea. I knew I would keep the baby anyway, but at least I could pretend to make a deal with him. If you turn all my grades into straight A's, then I will change my mind on the baby. Mr. Cumberbatch was desperate. He agreed to the deal and snuck into our school at night to change my grades on the principal's computer.
Oh, this girl, she mean business. Not only is she a homewrecker, she's straight up evil. You're gonna change all my grades, I'm gonna keep the baby, and I'm gonna tell your wife what you did.
When my principal handed over my report card, he took a quick look at it and said, there must have been a mistake. I immediately knew my plan had failed. And the next day I got my real report card, and my grades were terrible. The only A I got was in Mr. Cumberbatch's math class. I knew it wasn't his fault, but I was so angry, I found out his address and went to his house.
Oh! Oh, I had no idea Mr. Principal dude literally memorized everyone's grades. Like, oh, she got straight A's? Her? No, everyone knows she a dummy. There must be some mistake. Anyways, bad idea. She's going to his house.
A woman opened the door, and she was pregnant too. I asked her if she was the wife of Mr. Cumberbatch, and she said yes. Then Mr. Cumberbatch appeared next to her. He stared at me in a very threatening way. For a moment, I had doubts, but then I looked straight into her eyes and said, "Your husband got me pregnant, and he has no interest in taking responsibility for his mistake."
Bro, his mistake? Man, I can't stand it when these crazy hoes. You literally started this. It started out with a kiss. How did it end up like this? She kissed him. And then he was like, okay, you know what? We did enough math for one day. I'm gonna change your grade to an A. But no, she had to be like,
Oh, but Mr. Cumberbatch, I really like you.
I hoped she would get angry at her husband, but instead she got angry at me, screaming, "You've seduced my husband."
I would have done the same. I mean, she did. I blame her.
Mr. Cumberbatch hadn't held her back from me, I might not be alive today. I was shocked and went back home, but it got worse. The next day, she came to my house and used a golf club to break in through a window. My parents weren't at home to protect me, so I fled to the rooftop and called the police. They arrived in time and took Mrs. Cumberbatch into custody. 2 weeks later, she was sentenced to 24 months in prison.
What? You done ruined this poor woman's life. Literally, she's pregnant. You got her 2 years in jail, my dude. I can take you in if we want to. This is a full 5-course mess.
But this story gets even crazier.
How's it gonna get crazier? My dude, you yeehawed with your teacher to get an A, had him change your grade, had his wife thrown in jail. How does this possibly get crazier?
I called up Mr. Cumberbatch and told him we needed to talk. We met at a restaurant and I asked him, "How much child support will you pay me each month?" He responded, "I'm only a teacher. I don't make much money." But I asked again, "How much child support are you going to pay me?" He said, "Look, my pregnant wife is in prison and we both know she is insane. I will divorce her as soon as possible and I'd like you to come live with me. It will be the best for both you and the baby." I immediately said yes because I was scared of being a single mom.
Bro, just like that. So was the wife crazy before or after this happened is what I want to know. Yeah, okay, I'll live with you because he can't pay the child support.
But after my daughter was born, I had to take care of both her and Mr. Cumberbatch's other baby. At first I didn't mind. I loved them both. But then I saw how Mr. Cumberbatch preferred his other daughter over mine. He spent more time with her and treated her so much better.
Well, I hate to break it to you, lady, but your daughter was a mistake. This was never meant to happen.
Every morning, he said to her, "Hey, sweetie, good morning. I love you so much." And then he completely ignored my daughter.
Ugh, get this kid out of here. Imagine this father being so petty that he gives his other daughter the silent treatment like, "Oh, do you hear another child in the room? Oh no, I don't."
I had to admit that she was the perfect child. Extremely beautiful and very smart, much smarter than my daughter. At age 2, she already spoke fluently. I often screamed at Mr. Cumberbatch, telling him to treat them equally, but he never did. At one point, I couldn't take it anymore. I went to a lawyer and asked him how much the father of my child had to pay me in child support on a $40,000 teacher salary. He told me to expect at least $1,000 per month. That was a good amount, but I knew I could do better. So I went to Mr. Cumberbatch and said, "I will move out, but I expect you to pay me $2,000 in child support each month."
My dude, that's literally more than half his paycheck. You want $24,000 a year. My dude makes $40K. That is one expensive mistake.
He told me he didn't have enough money to do that, but I continued. "If you don't pay me the money, I will tell the school authorities that you got me pregnant while I was one of your students. I'm sure they will fire you for that." He got angry and said, "How stupid are you? If I'm gonna lose my job, then how am I gonna pay your child support?" I responded, "You are demanded by the law to pay my child support anyway. If you don't, you will go to prison just like your wife." "You are insane. All you women are insane."
Oh man. Everyone watching, I hope y'all learned something from this video.
I told him to get a second job, and we figured he could tutor kids to afford the $2,500 in child support. Meanwhile, I moved back in with my parents, and life became much easier for me. Right now, my mom takes care of my daughter while I'm going to college. With the $2,500 Mr. Cumberbatch sends me each month, I have enough money to feed my daughter and party through the weekends. Trust me, I really enjoy my college life.
I mean, part of me wants to say, you are a terrible, despicable person. But part of me also wants to be like, dang girl, secure the bag, get your coin. But like, you literally ruined his wife's life. You kind of ruined his life too. You destroyed their family for some extra credit. I mean, I feel bad for Mr. Cumberbatch. sorry.
But Mr. Cumberbatch had to move into a cheaper and smaller house. He couldn't afford his old rent anymore. I knew it was wrong, but for some reason, I deeply enjoyed seeing Mr. Cumberbatch suffer.
You give me an F in math, I'm gonna give you an F in life. Math's like if wrong.
Later, I checked his Facebook and saw he was back with Mrs. Cumberbatch. I was still envious of their daughter. I didn't think they deserved such a perfect child. So one night, after I came back from a college party, I did something terrible.
Oh man, it gets even worse.
I put a bunch of photos of me holding Mrs. Cumberbatch's daughter on a USB stick, put it in an envelope, and sent it to their new home. But this time nothing happened, and instead of giving up, I took it one step further. When it was time to receive my next child support check, I went to their home to pick it up personally. I want to pick up my child support check in person. What are you talking about? Your husband didn't tell you? He pays me $2,000 per month in child support so I can take care of my daughter. I saw she was getting angry, and then her daughter came to the door and saw me. She immediately started screaming out of joy and ran up to me. I picked her up and said, "Oh, there's my baby."
Oh man! It's like you got a sick paper cut. Take some lemon juice, pour it all over. Ooh, rub that bad boy in. That's how bad it hurts. I feel pain for the mother, even though I can't even relate at all to this. You know, I am convinced that this girl is Satan herself. She just want to watch the world burn.
Her mother took her out of my arms and screamed at me, "You dirty little girl! All you do is destroy happy families!" I responded, "If you're such a happy family, why didn't your husband tell you he's paying another girl $2,000 a month in child support? And where is he anyway? I'm sure he wants to sleep with me again." She responded, "You better not come here again, or it will be your last time." And I said, "You better be careful your husband doesn't get another girl pregnant. He really doesn't care about you." I felt weird, like I had done something wrong.
Oh, you don't say. What is this feeling I'm feeling? Did I possibly do something wrong? She just had a revelation. Satan confirmed.
I was the one trying to destroy their family and making everyone miserable. I knew I'd messed up, and that's why I decided not to bother them anymore. I still receive my child support checks, but now I fully focus on my daughter and on college.
Okay, it doesn't make you any less of a piece of human garbage. I feel horrible for the wife. That's literally terrible what you've done. No words. Well, that was the longest condom commercial I've ever watched. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button in the face and make sure you turn on notifications. Click, and subscribe, join the wolf pack. Oh, I love you guys so much. Thanks for watching. Bye guys.